Angel Reese has thrown in the towel. She refuses to travel with the team. Once again, the team has a road game. We already saw she refused to travel with the team to Indiana versus the Fever.
The conversation around Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky is louder than the arena sound system. But volume is not the same as truth. One crowd insists she walked away from the grind and left her teammates to fight the hardest stretch of the schedule without their centerpiece. Another crowd believes she is managing a real back issue in a season where injuries have already rattled the league, and that the rumor economy is punishing her for not turning pain into content. Both sides speak with certainty. Both cherry-pick moments that match their narrative.
Everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky?
To be fixed, and I don't give a damn if I get fined because that shit cheap, and I am tired of the shit. Because I've been nice and I've been humble with it, but I am tired of the shit.
Game, her team won the championship game without her, and she feel like she was supposed to get a ring or whatever. I don't know.
Yet that stories evolving in real time rarely fit tidy headlines. Here, we apply a slower lens and a faster filter. What is verified, what is inferred, and what only exists because repetition made it feel real. We will look at communication lapses that fuel anxiety, the optics problem that cameras amplify, the rivalry multiplier that turns routine choices into defining images, and the basketball fit that either unlocks a team or clogs it. We will also map the business pressures that
Hey, look, bro, you gotta remember, she quit in Unrivaled. She just stopped playing in Unrivaled. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games.
On availability and the realistic options a front office actually has when noise threatens to outshout film. If you value breakdowns and move quickly without cutting corners, subscribe now, hit the bell, and ride with us to the last frame. Because this story is still writing itself, and the next page might drop tonight. But if you think the noise is chaotic now, wait until we stack the loudest headline against a cold quiet of proof. The boldest claim bouncing around feeds is that the Chicago Sky have sued Angel Reese for abandoning the team mid-season. That is a legal thunderclap, the sort of allegation that produces filings, docket numbers, stamp dates, and statements that live outside opinion. Suits do not hide in group chats. They exist in public record. Online, however, echo often masquerades as evidence. A dramatic title multiplies into thumbnails. Reaction clips mirror each other.
Being honest, maybe more reason why she's out right now might be secretly shopping her. They're not secretly shopping her. You don't fake back injuries. You don't fake back injuries. Running from the grind, man.
And repetition starts to feel like confirmation. Responsible coverage draws a bright line. Until documentation surfaces or credible reporting verifies it, the only honest label is rumor. Saying in that does not minimize fan frustration, nor does it deny that a franchise can be unhappy with how a situation looks. It simply means we refuse to convert speculation into verdict. It also means we focus on what is real right now. Thin communication, uncertain availability, and a perception battle happening in the dark. If paperwork appears,
the Chicago Sky, you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. They need Angel Reese to play in games. Angel, where you at? Where are you at, Angel? This is nuts.
We will break it down in plain language with dates, implications for contract clauses, and how it could change the cap map. Until then, accountability belongs to clarity. Clarity stabilizes locker rooms, steadies partners, and keeps supporters from feeling played by the rumor mill. But while rumor thrives in shadow, a very public kind of fog is. Keyed in the fire every single game night. Day-to-day sounds harmless, but it's a wide tent. It can mean a mild aggravation that clears in a week, or a complex back condition that shifts from morning to night with no warning. Backs are complicated machines. You can feel mobile at noon and locked up by dinner, which makes timelines dangerous to
Like she is asking for a trade. Or she's at least implying she wants to be traded. Because at the end of the day, you just never know.
And easy to misread. What aggravates fans is not only the absence, It's the silence around the absence. No predictable cadence of updates. No soft horizon that says when a reevaluation might land. Few tangible breadcrumbs like practice, ramp-ups, travel notes, or range of motion benchmarks. In that vacuum, stories sprint in. Critics point to timing when losses pile up and call it convenient. Supporters push back and remind everyone that pain is invisible, progress is nonlinear, and caution is smart when the future matters more than this week. Both arguments grow louder when
Angel, you gotta be, hold on, you have to have some level of self-awareness here. Obviously, showing a complete lack of leadership. Man. Caitlin Clark's been hurt. She traveling with the team, supporting on the bench.
Official notes are thin. It signals control, stays the room, and tells fans the organization owns the story, not the timeline. But even the cleanest medical explanation cannot fix what the camera does not see. And that is where optics cut deep. Fans understand that stars will miss games. What earns grace is visible buy-in. Sit in warm-ups, stand in huddles, clap during timeouts, point out a coverage to a young guard, lock eyes with a teammate after a rough sequence, and give a cue that says, keep going. Television cannot film a medical chart, but it can film engagement, and engagement buys patience that no press release can match. When a franchise face is not on the court, not on the bench, and not even...
She didn't even show up to that. Now she's not showing up, traveling with the team in the third straight season, 2 at the Chicago Sky and 1 in Unrivaled. It is becoming a pattern.
In the building for a marquee road game, a vacuum opens that gets filled with whatever story fits each bias. A medically sound reason may exist. But cameras communicate faster than paragraphs. A 10-second clip of a star leaning over a tablet, tracing an adjustment, can quiet a week of speculation. Presence does not guarantee wins, but it buys time for rehab to work without drama eating the season alive. But scrutiny doubles when the opponent is your loudest rival, because rivalry multiplies everything good and bad. Sports talk does not need a dozen data points to fix a label to a player. It needs 3. Give the narrative 3 beats and it becomes a rhythm that is hard to unhear. Critics point to a previous season that ended abruptly. The media policy find
the Indiana Fever are 7-1. I repeat, the Fever are 7-1 in 2 years against the Chicago Sky.
That's stuck in memory, and now a drawn-out back timeline with thin updates. That, they argue, looks like a pattern. Supporters counter that each moment has context, that stitching them together is lazy, and that labels often ignore the grind nobody sees. The truth that matters for perception is colder. You do not argue your way out of a label. You act your way out of it. Labels fade when new behavior is seen repeatedly in public. Visible presence through rough stretches. Predictable messaging that does not flinch. A return plan the staff can write on a board and measure with simple goals like screen assists, box-out wins, and second-chance creation. Stack those actions for a month, and even the stickiest label starts to peel. The sooner that stack begins, the faster conversation returns to film, where performance, not perception, writes the headline. But labels bite hardest in rivalry windows, and that spotlight is exactly where this story keeps landing. When the schedule says rival, lights get brighter, feeds get louder, and every possession turns into a referendum on identity. If the rival holds the recent edge, the pressure climbs again.
Once she was eliminated from the Rookie of the Year, she said her wrist was hurt. Unrivaled, she did not finish. She didn't even show up to the championship game.
Back a little bit. You can't want to be the villain. You can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you succumb to those emotions.
Absences sound louder. Benches look emptier. Body language gets slow motion analysis from people who never miss a frame. Sit out and some will call it avoidance. Dress and cheer and others will ask why you are not playing. Skip the trip and the narrative explodes into absolutes. Rivalries do not invent injury questions. If images will be remembered, choose them on purpose and make them say unity. But leadership in storms is more than quotes. It's a loop of public habits that quietly rewrite the room. Leadership is a chain of small, visible acts repeated until they feel like culture. Walk in early and dap the room. Sit first.
It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA.
Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you no longer, you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year.
Go for film and ask one short question that proves you studied the scout. Pull a rookie aside after a turnover and draw the next action in the air with your finger. Stand for interviews after a rough night and choose candor over slogans. Text a teammate the morning after a loss and tell her the first adjustment you'll help with at practice. None of that requires 30 minutes on the floor. Yet all of it builds trust that lasts when shots do not fall. That tone is not cosmetic. It lightens the locker room, steadies the market, and gives the coaching staff room to coach. But even perfect leadership cannot bail out a clogged offense. And the on-court blueprint still decides reputations. Chicago's best version is obvious when you see it. The ball touches both sides.
Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating, what is this back injury? The back injury. Everybody's questioning it now. And this will be a third straight season where Angel Reese did not finish playing in game. I think Whitlock is onto something. I see other people talking about this. I heard she was at the practice, but you did not travel with the team to the game. I think that's kind of whack. I'm not going to lie. The leader of the team's supposed to be there.
Screens are set like statements. Cutters flash into daylight. The paint is earned through timing, not forced through traffic. A powerful interior presence can be the engine of that flow or the anchor that stalls it. Used well, Reese seals early before the defense loads, sprints into short rolls, makes two-beat decisions, triggers skip passes that stretch help, and crushes the glass to create second chances that break an opponent's posture. Used poorly, possessions slow into long stares, late post entries, compressed spacing, and doubles that force contested heaves. The fix is pace plus discipline. Establish deep position before help arrives. Catch, read, and either go or move it. When the ball moves, everyone breathes. When everyone breathes, production replaces narrative, and the room feels lighter than the standings. But games never live in a vacuum, and every tip-off is also a business meeting with real stakes. Availability sheets more than the box score. It decides ticket demand, broadcast choices, sponsor activations, youth nights, community moments, and the temperature of the brand in the city. When the star plays, the store window shines and the arena buzz feels electric before the anthem. When the star cannot go, the franchise must reassure the locker room and the market that the mission is steady. This is why organizations value visibility even during rehab. A pre-game nod to a community group, a courtside shot of engagement during a timeout, a short weekly message that screens on the scoreboard. All of it buys trust. None of it replaces health. All of it keeps the bond intact, so that when the player returns, anticipation is energy, not skepticism. When storms linger, conversations drift toward trades, and that world has rules most timelines ignore. The minute a star sits in losses stack, trade chatter rises like steam. Some of it is fan therapy, some is legitimate inquiry, and a lot is noise. Real deals require aligned timelines, matching money, believable medical expectations, and agreement on value now versus value later. A player's market is not what a thread demands. It is what another front office is willing to pay in players and picks after watching full games, not just clips. If talks ever turn serious, it'll be because both sides see a better long-term path, not because a viral post dared them to move. The more likely near path is steadier. Rehab with intention, communicate with rhythm, reintegrate with a defined ramp that fits the identity. Early seals, quick decisions, glass dominance, limited touches that expand as synergy grows. That is not a dramatic headline, but it is how seasons settle and how locker rooms avoid fracture. A steady path only works when it is written down, shared openly, and measured in public. Here is the blueprint that flips the story. Step 1, set a weekly update window and hit it without fail. Even if the message is no change, say it. Predictability lowers anxiety and keeps rumor oxygen low. Step 2, codify visible buy-in. When appropriate, travel. Sit with the team. Be active in huddles, not as a prop, but as a participant who notices details and delivers quick cues. Step 3, publish a staged return. Not a rigid date, a progression. minutes, targets, matchup goals. And roll KPIs that go beyond points and rebounds. Track screen assists, contested box outs, and second chance creation. Step 4. Let teammates carry part of the message. When peers say, "We feel her presence, we know the plan, we are aligned," the room broadcasts trust more powerfully than any press release. Stack these steps for 4 weeks and watch the rumor economy shrink under clarity's weight. But plans collapse when persona and habits do not match. And that gap can either sell tickets or burn them. Angel Reese entered the league with an unapologetic edge that helped fill arenas fast. Leaning into a foil role sells rivalries and energizes neutrals. But it also sets expectations around presence and tone. The persona gap opens when public energy is heavy, but visible investment looks light. Closing that gap does not ask anyone to shrink. It asks for habits that read as genuine and generous. Sit beside a development coach during film and ask the question the camera can catch. Celebrate a role player's hustle with the same intensity you give your own milestones. Offer a direct 10-second answer after a tough loss instead of letting the room guess. Credibility in sports is not a speech. It is repetition that feels organic, not staged, and audiences can smell the difference. The faster that repetition lands, the faster the outside noise sounds tired. But repetition only matters if it leads to a turning point everyone can feel, and the fork in the road is already here. Picture the next month. On Path 1, a weekly update drops on the same day every time. Travel appears when appropriate, and broadcasts catch up pointing out reads and timeouts, greeting teammates after gritty stops, and smiling after a rookie nails the rotation you discussed. The return follows a simple checklist. Win the glass by a clear margin. Sprint into early seals instead of late post-ups. Keep the ball moving out of the first touch. And own the short roll with quick decisions that punish help. Counting stats might not explode on day one, but the energy changes the air in the room, and the room plays freer. On Path 2, silence stretches. Absence remains unexplained. Trade talk grows confident, and the all-season becomes a referendum instead of a reset. The split between those paths is not luck. It is the sum of small, visible choices repeated in public. That's how reputations pivot in real time. But the next decision will echo louder than the last headline. And it may land when nobody expects it. You came for clarity and received the most honest snapshot available right now. Rumors run hot, paperwork runs cold. And real change arrives through steady communication, visible leadership, and a return plan anyone can follow. The blueprint is not complicated, but it demands discipline and publicly consistent habits that become culture. If you value breakdowns that cut through noise without chasing empty drama, subscribe now. Hit the bell and share your take in the comments so we can widen the conversation. Do you believe a consistent plan and visible investment can flip this narrative? Or do you think perception is already hardened? We read every perspective, track every development, and show up the moment the story moves. This channel is for people who want basketball to be about basketball again, even when the spotlight tries to pull it somewhere else. Your voice shapes what we cover next. And your perspective might be the bridge between two warring narratives that actually want the same thing, the truth. But if you think this chapter was tense, wait for the next update, because one choice could turn skepticism into momentum overnight.